All right, we got a 2016 Volkswagen Passat TSI R-line. Okay, so we have a beautiful example of an early build. It's a 2016 build date. And I'm gonna put some spark plugs in this little thing here. And I've done some other videos on this car where I did the tips and tricks on the intake manifold and some other things. So I've already pulled the beauty cover off. I mean, it's your choice on how that thing comes off. If these things don't have any lube on them, it's difficult to come off. I always put silicone on them before I put it back together, so that next time it'll be a little easier. So what we're looking at here is I've got these ground wires taken off of the coil packs, okay? And so let me get the special tool required for that. As you can see, this one here is all jacked up, and that one there is too. All right, those two there, that's when I stopped and decided maybe I need to do something about this. So what the problem is that this screw is torqued into the top of the valve cover there, and it's got a jam nut on top of it. Okay, it's got a jam nut on top of it, and it holds this ground wire for each coil pack, and you can't fit a wrench in there. So what I got is an old wrench, and I ground it down so it's thin enough to go in here like this and hold that stud so that you can take that off. And if you don't do that, you will get this and worse. So we don't want to waste time with stuff like this, man. That freaking sucks. So get an old opening wrench, grind it down in the grinder, just say there it is. That's my special tool for the day, because you're going to be pissed if you mess up all those ground wires. So the next thing is getting these little buggers off here. All right, the plugs, I mean, they are just a difficult little item, and I'm going to show how I did that. All right, so I hope that's good enough of perspective. I'm going to put my big old meat claws in the way here. Now, currently, all four of these are currently released, all right? And they're not coming up because there's things in the way, and that air tube and stuff is blocking it. I'll deal with that in a minute. But right now, before you take these four studs out of the coil packs here, because if you take the stud out, then the coil pack will be loose and you won't be able to manipulate this plug. So what you want to do is get your pick like this. You put this pick like this in there, and you lift up on that little latch. And then you get some pliers or screwdriver, whatever, and you get under that and you work it out like this on each one. You start from the left. You can start from the right if you want. You can start wherever you want. This is how I do it. I always start on this side because there's enough release in this wire here. I have enough slack to get into it. And so you put that under each one. You put the pliers in here and you wiggle each one off, and then the whole thing starts lifting up. I don't know if you can see that or not. The whole thing lifts up. You kind of just work that little guy off. All right, each one same way. So they're all loose now. Get rid of this nut before I lose that. And so basically you're going to push this back a little bit, enough to get this off. That's all. There. All right, I've already released this little clamp here, and all I'm going to do is just push this out of the way, manipulate it so it's out of the way enough for me to do the job. I mean, it's not really worth taking anything else apart to get this out of the way. All we want now is just to get this off. Now, I'm going to use power tools on some of this stuff, but I will warn you in advance. If you try to put any of this stuff together with a power tool, you're going to have a problem. As soon as you cross thread one of these or snap one of these suckers off, you are going to be pissed. And you're going to spend all day messing around with that instead of just doing what you're trying to do. All right, so I'm going to pull them coil packs off, and that's pretty much, yeah, you just kind of wiggle them around. These are the original coil packs. Come out of there, you little rascal. Just kind of have to wiggle it around a little bit and be careful with it. If it comes off the boot, then you'll have to get in there with some pliers and WD-40. And, you know, before I did all this, I blew everything off and cleaned it, because there's always dust and stuff up under there. Wow, you can't even see what I'm doing. just barely. All right, well anyway, let me get those coil packs off and then I'll take a little bit more video, but there's not much else. Okay, so let me tell you how I did that, because there's no way to take a video of that. So while this coil is in there, okay, and I got it wiggled out enough so I could get to this edge right here. Now you don't want to spray WD-40 in between here. You don't want to spray WD in there. You just want to spray WD right here. Get this edge back a little bit and spray the WD and let the WD run down there, and then you can wiggle it around and get it out the rest of the way. So that's how I did it. This far coil pack, I don't know if you can see it in the video. Yeah, this coil pack here is probably the hardest one because it's got all this junk around it. You can't really move it that well. So the coil packs don't matter which one is what. I mean, if you're really highly concerned about it, you can mark it, but I always just place them in a place, you know, from right to left or left to right or whatever to get them out. Let's see how these other ones go. Yeah, they're all gonna be a little task to get out, so I don't need to video that, but I'm gonna shoot some WD next to each one of them and try to get those out. All right, so I got 4 of them out, and the next deal is you wanna blow each one out. Okay, I tell you, if I don't show each one of these getting blown out, the internet will blow up. But anyway, I've already blown them out. So just get the excess WD out, and any dirt or debris or, you know, rocks, nuts and bolts, whatever, get them blown out of them holes, because when you go in there and try to work with that spark plug, you're going to have problems. All right, so I got all 4 of them loose. I've got a real fancy socket that does the job, but the magnet has fell out or something somewhere. Astro 5/8 socket. Got them all loose. This is the type of socket I recommend. If you have a regular 5/8, oops, if you have a regular 5/8, get one that has a locking, get an extension that has a locking extension on it, because when you take it out, it always wants to stay in there, and you got to get a magnet, whatever. So because this magnet is gone on this particular socket assembly, I'm gonna have to get a magnet and get each one out. Let's look at see what we got. Pretty good. You know, these got a lot of miles on them, so they're ready. But yeah, so that's what we got. Just the original spark plugs, some NGKs, NGKR. That'll be a PLF ER 7A AEG spark plug. I've got a new set from FPC Euro. They are not sponsoring anything. I wish they would. But that's what we got. I mean, I don't see any problems with the combustion chamber. You can see that one of them is a little bit lighter brown than the other. And the reason why you would get something like this, where some of them are a little different, you could have cylinder problems or whatever on these Volkswagens. If you get an intake valve or something else that's acting up, it'll cause problems. But these intake valves on this one are beautiful. So I would think that the PVC has a little bit more PVC flow on the outer sides, and on this one, and that's the only thing I can think of that would cause that one to look different. So all right, so let's get to the next step. We're in pretty good shape so far. All right, so here's the package I got from FPC Euro here. We got the spark plug kit that comes with the little sealing washer, which is really cool. Okay, that's what you want. You want to do the job right. We got the Bosch spark plugs. I guess these are the factory plugs, or at least the factory replacement plugs. But that's the part number on that. Let's see what one looks like. Got some dielectric grease. Let's see here. It looks like the right plugs. Doesn't say NGK on it. Have to learn how to do things with one hand here. There we go. All right. Says it's a double platinum. It's a good looking spark plug. It's got the sealing washer on it, so I don't know why the kit sent it with it. I don't know. Stupid. But, you know, we got the dielectric grease with it. Got the fancy spark plug wrench that I'm not going to use. But it does have the magnet on it, so that's cool. I just opened this box, didn't know the wrench was in here, but the guy I'm doing this for, I guess he ordered all this stuff like he was going to do it or something. But this is the transmission filter. We're going to do the transmission service, okay? And this transmission filter, that's the part number, comes with the little separator. These are called, well, I'm not exactly sure what Volkswagen calls them, but these are little limit bushings, okay? And these fit into these little holes on the gasket, and that limits how tight you can put it. So you are going to want to torque that down, but that limits the amount of torque that you can put on it, so you don't crush it and just frickin' destroy it. So we don't want to do that. But yeah, this kit's pretty good. Look at this filter. It's got a beautiful filter for the transmission. Huh, how about that? It's got the O-ring already installed on it, which is cool. So just keep track of that. You're not going to want to lose that O-ring. You're going to be pissed if that sucker's gone. So one that's on there is all flattened out and nasty. So this business here, you just want to lay this out. Lay this gasket out. It's all twisted up in a frickin' knot. So just lay that out and let the sunlight or something warm it up a bit, so that so it'll cooperate just a little bit more than that. But yeah. So there we go. That's the extent of this video. I mean, I might do a little bit more on the spark plug just to wrap that up. Alright, so these type of spark plugs have a crush washer on there. So I usually do these by feel. But you know, they're like maybe 12 foot-pounds or so. But I don't torque these, I just do it by the way it feels. So if you're not familiar with that, you'll have to look up the torque specs. I'm not going to hand them out. I mean, that's as close as I can give it. But, you know, I just usually put just a tiny little bit of anti-seize on there, not much. Just a little bit on the thread so that, you know, there's something there. Something's better than nothing. I just put a little tiny bit on there. And that's it. You know, that's all there is to it. I don't make a big deal about putting the plugs in there. I mean, if you want, you can lower them down with a magnet, but I just drop them in there. I always start them by hand. If you start that spark plug with anything but your hand, you're asking for trouble, buddy. And I'm not doing this to allow someone to cause trouble, so I'm going to tell you not to do that. Start it by hand, please. Very easy. Very easy to start by hand. I'll use the same tool that I took them out with. It's possible I could use the fancy tool that came with it. That thing is a foot long. What in the world's going on with that? And of course, if I don't show putting this on there like this, but I talked about it, the internet. The internet would just go upside down and catch on fire. You didn't do every one of them. Oh my goodness. Alright, so we're going to get the tool, we put it in there and just slowly lower it in there and get it started. Okay? You can feel the drag of the threads. The way the threads drag on it a little bit, you can tell that you got it started. It's very easy. I have a 1/4-inch drive DeWalt here. All I'm going to do is run them in, okay? That's it. Do not power tool that spark plug in there. You will hate yourself. Do not ever do that. Alright, so got them all ran down. Get my ratchet. So let's see how they feel. Alright, so right now the way I'm feeling it, okay, the face of this crush washer is up against the top of the cylinder head right now, okay? So it's touching. And so whenever it starts to touch, that's when you start to torque. So let's see how it feels. And that's it. Not even a 1/4 turn. I mean, that's touching. Yeah, That's the extent of it, right there. Yep. Just make sure it's touching. Sometimes the threads are a little tight, so you're going to want to, I hope I'm not blocking too much. But that's it. Howdy. Yeah. All right, well, that was just somebody picking up their keys. All right, so I said in the box there that we got some anti-seize. Well, it's actually dielectric grease. I thought it was anti-seize, so sorry about that. And this dielectric grease, you know, you're just going to want to put a little bit in there, maybe a little bit around the top up here. That seems to be the place where it was getting all jacked up. It still has a little bit of WD-40 on it, and that's fine. WD-40 will completely evaporate. WD-40 is not a lubricant. It will lubricate while it's wet. Do not put silicone in here, okay? Don't let me catch you putting silicone in there. That's a bad idea. You want to clean it out and wash it out? Clean it out and wash it out with some WD-40, but don't be stupid and pack connectors with silicone, okay? That's going to cause problems, and we don't want problems. So that's the end of this video. If you have any comments or questions, please ask some questions. Please give me a thumbs up for things. Please subscribe, all that kind of good business. Y'all have a good day. I'll do some more video later on here in a bit on the transmission service. So you have a good day. Be blessed. Bye-bye.